Greetings again to all you fellow collectors. So I was watching a channel in my subscriptions called Ron's Muscle Car Diecast, and he's shown this car a couple of times. He absolutely loves it, and I like the look of the '64 Riviera, so I decided to buy it myself. So it's from the premium line of cars. What does this mean, guys? I'm not a big Hot Wheels guy, so 23. Is that like the 23rd collection of these Boulevard cars, or what? I do not know. Okay, let's see here. So this Riviera, it actually had a distinct body style. It wasn't shared with any other GM cars, which is pretty unusual. It was unique to Buick, and it had this, Coke bottle look, where basically it's supposed to look tapered. Fender flared out, thin in the middle, and then fender flared out. You can kind of see it from the side view, how it flares up. Anyways, that's what I understand Coke bottle styling is supposed to be. I learned that this car has drum brakes, which might have been acceptable back then. Total death traps by today's standards, though. Okay. And then there's two engine choices, a 6.6 liter making 325 horsepower, or the upgraded 7 liter would make 340 horsepower. Both of them are V8 engines. So they all had dual exhaust as standard, and they could do 0 to 60 in around 8 seconds. Although you couldn't really brag about the 13.2 miles per gallon. By today's standards, that's miserable, but back then, gas was cheap, right? These things typically ran around $5,000, which is around 45,000 bucks in today's money. I can still see that even by today's standards. This looks like a car like that price range. They intentionally limited production to 40,000 units. Alright, so the one thing I want to know is the scale of this thing. Sometimes Hot Wheels is on, but they don't really claim to be scale models. So I looked up the overall length of this thing is 2972 millimeters. So let me try to find the longest point here. The very tip of the nose, tip of the back. 80.4. Something went wrong with my calculation. It says it's 137 scale. That can't be right. Oh, I was looking up the wheelbase, 2972. So length is 5283 divided by 80.4. Yeah, it's getting 166 scale. And why not? Let's try the wheelbase one. So 2972 divided by, this is always going to be tough to measure, axle to axle. It's actually 46.54. Look at that. So by wheelbase, it's actually around 164 scale. So the bumpers, throw it off. Maybe I was a little bit off measuring the bumpers. So in this case, I would say this is 164 scale. I think wheelbase is more important than overall length. It's just I usually do overall length because I'm lazy. So sorry about that, guys. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy collecting diecast cars. Cut me a break. Alright, so let's get into what details Hot Wheels put on this guy. So yeah, you can see the speckling, but there's obviously some paint issues here. Or maybe casting issues. Right here, there's something going on. Maybe that's an extra metal or something contaminant. Here, there's literally a missing piece of metal, I think, like a divot. So that's too bad. It is nice to see the silver paint here and around the windows. They all have the silver paint trim, so that's good. Yeah, a little bit of the Coke bottle again. Upon closer look, it does seem narrower here than back there. Going around to the back here, we got some silver paint around the tail lights, so that's painted nicely. It would be nice if they put like a fake license plate on, like a green light does. I don't see why they wouldn't. Yeah, it's a shame. Silver for the lock, and I must say Riviera. This side, yeah, you got the silver paint around these like fake vents or whatever. Riviera there, silver on the door handle. And the wheels, I don't know what kind of wheels these are supposed to be, but I like them. and they're so chromed out that the exposed axles doesn't really bother me as much as usual. So I'm actually not going to replace the wheels on this. I think I'm just going to leave this the way it is. You can see there's like a tan interior. It's actually alright. It's actually pretty good for Hot Wheels. So that's nice. And then the front end, yeah, it's part of the base pan. You know, it's all metal up here. Some white dots in there. What I think really would help out is some black paint wash to bring out the details of the grille. And then we got this metal base and it's riveted together as usual. I guess this is from 2016, the copyright, and the rubber tires and all that stuff are nice. The dual exhausts are a little anemic looking. Yeah, I don't know why Hot Wheels wouldn't just mold those to be thicker. They could. It wouldn't cost much else. Unless you guys, do you think that's really accurate? Would the exhaust pipe be that small? Maybe it would be. You know, So let's try to take a little black paint wash and make this front end look better. That's the only place I see you could improve this on, you know, other than putting a decal of a license plate on there, which I'm not going to bother on a Hot Wheels to do that. So this is called Tamiya brand panel line accent color, and it just, you don't want to shake it up. There's a whole bunch of, you know, black paint and isopropyl alcohol, I believe, is the carrier. So take note of this grill right now, and you might want to fast forward, but I'm going to at least get it started. And I'm done. I'm not sure if you guys can really see a difference. It's really subtle. I actually filled it all in with black. I let it dry, and then I took a tiny little swab and I scraped all the black off the higher ridges. So there's only a little bit of black in those little recesses. And then, well, anyways, that's all I've done to this one. It's a pretty good model, except for that blemish there. So that is my Buick Riviera. I guess this is my very first Buick to enter my collection. But it's pleasant to know that it is to scale, and it makes Mr. Bean happy enough to dance around. Alright, well, I'll eventually get some more premium Hot Wheels, you know, whenever the next cool model they put out is available. Alright, I'll see you guys around.